We've been told for years that indoor cats don't need any special winter care, and that advice is quietly failing them. It's strange how confidently we accept ideas that were never based on our cat's real instincts or biology. Your cat isn't built to complain, so they simply adapt, endure, and hope you notice the signs they can't say out loud. But once you see those signs for what they are, you can't unsee them. Keep watching, because the first hidden winter mistake is one almost everyone gets wrong. And if you want to rethink more of the assumptions we've all been taught, feel free to join me for future videos. Chapter 1. Why cats hide cold discomfort. Have you ever wondered why your cat never seems to show you when they're uncomfortable? They move through your home with this quiet confidence, and it's easy to believe they're unaffected by the same things that make us shiver. But deep down, your cat is carrying instincts that were shaped long before they ever curled up on your blanket. A cat that feels cold won't whine or pace or look to you for reassurance. They'll simply endure, because that's what their ancestors had to do to survive. Their bodies run warmer than ours, so what feels perfectly fine to you can slowly drain their comfort without you noticing at all. And depending on their age, their breed, or any hidden health struggles, that gap between what you feel and what they feel only widens. They rely on small, almost invisible signals to cope, hoping you catch them, even though they've been wired for generations to hide anything that looks like weakness. And once you start noticing those tiny shifts, you can't help but see your cat differently. Chapter 2. Detecting behavioral signs of cold. Have you ever noticed how a cat can make even the smallest movement look intentional, almost delicate, and yet something about it feels slightly off? A tight curl isn't just a cozy pose. It's a protective instinct, a way of folding themselves inward to hold onto every bit of warmth they can. When your cat shifts from lounging openly to compressing their body, tucking their paws, or burying their nose, they're quietly telling you the room is colder than they can comfortably handle. And once you see it, you begin to spot all the other ways they search for heat. Their sudden interest in electronics, the way they migrate from spot to spot, as if testing the air for warmth you can't feel. Shivering, the one sign we expect, only appears when they can't hide it anymore, when their body is slipping past what they can control. It's strange how a cat can be surrounded by a warm home and still crave places far hotter than any human would choose, as if they're trying to recreate a world their bodies still remember. And once you recognize these patterns, you start to realize just how much your cat has been saying without making a sound. Chapter 3. Mistake 1. Direct heat exposure risks. Most people don't realize that the very thing they use to keep their cat warm can quietly hurt them. A space heater, a radiator, even a heated vent feels safe because it's familiar, and your cat's immediate comfort makes it look harmless. But cats are drawn to warmth with an intensity that doesn't always match their awareness of danger, and they'll inch closer and closer until their skin is taking more heat than it can safely handle. They won't yelp or pull away the way a human might. They'll stay still, eyes half closed, trusting the warmth even as it dries their skin or slowly overheats the area they're resting on. And while the heat feels soothing in the moment, the air around them becomes drier, pulling moisture from their body until dehydration creeps in without a single obvious sign. It's unsettling to realize that something meant to help can quietly make them vulnerable, especially when all they want is to feel safe and warm. So the real kindness isn't the strongest heat you can offer. It's creating warmth that supports their body instead of overwhelming it. Chapter 4. Mistake 2. Winter dehydration. Have you ever noticed how rarely you see your cat actually drink and wondered if that silence means everything is fine? In the colder months, that quiet becomes even easier to overlook because your cat moves less, sleeps more, and settles into warm corners instead of wandering to their water bowl. Cold water in a cold room feels uninviting to them, almost like stepping out of a warm bed onto a freezing floor. So they wait and keep waiting. And as the hours stretch on, their body quietly gives up more moisture than it takes in, slowly stressing the organs that depend on steady hydration to function well. You might not see the early signs, the slightly tacky gums, the subtle change in their litter box habits, but their body feels the strain long before you do. It's strange how something as simple as offering warmer water or placing bowls closer to where they rest can shift everything, almost as if you're giving them permission to stay comfortable while still taking care of themselves. And once you notice how easily dehydration sneaks up on them, you start to see the small ways you can soften their winter without making them change who they are. Chapter 5. Mistake 3. Incorrect winter calorie adjustments. It's easy to assume your cat needs the same amount of food year-round, but winter gently proves otherwise. When the temperature drops, their body works a little harder in the background, burning energy just to stay warm, even if they never set foot outside. And the cats who feel this shift the most are the ones who already walk through the world with a little less reserve. Your seniors who've slowed down, your kittens still growing, or the quiet ones whose bodies are hiding small struggles you haven't noticed yet. At first, the changes are subtle, just a barely there thinning along their sides, or the sense that they're a little lighter when you scoop them up. But their body feels it long before your eyes catch up. That's why touching them, really feeling their ribs and spine with gentle curiosity, becomes less about checking weight and more about listening to what their body is telling you. And when you add just a bit more nourishment, more protein, a slightly fuller meal at night, you're not spoiling them. You're giving their body the warmth it can't quite make on its own anymore. Chapter 6. Mistake 4. Bathing and temperature shock. You've probably seen a cat look perfectly calm while being dried after a bath and assumed everything was fine. But beneath that quiet exterior, their body is scrambling to recover from a sudden shift it was never designed to handle. Because warm water followed by cooler air creates a shock their system struggles to balance. Cats depend on the natural oils in their coat to insulate them, tiny layers of protection that baths quietly wash away, leaving them more exposed than you'd ever guess just by looking at them. And the ones who pay the highest price are the cats already running a little fragile. Your seniors, your kittens, the ones with slow, careful movements that hint at hidden discomfort. Brushing, on the other hand, works in harmony with what their body is trying to do, warming them gently and restoring the texture and insulation their fur needs to protect them. It's a small shift in how you care for them, but it changes the way their body handles cold, almost like giving them back something winter tried to take. And once you feel the difference in their coat after a good brushing, you start to understand why their instincts avoided water in the first place. Chapter 7. Mistake 5. Clothing that restricts natural behavior. Most people assume that putting a sweater on a cat is a simple act of love, but the truth is far more complicated. A sweater might look adorable, and for a moment, it feels like you're helping them stay warm. Yet your cat experiences that fabric in a way that's completely different from how you imagine it. Cats live through their fur. They groom it, adjust it, and rely on it to tell them everything about their environment. So when you cover that fur, you're covering a part of how they understand the world. And even when they freeze up, walk stiffly, or look uncertain, we often mistake it for cuteness instead of recognizing it as discomfort or confusion. The ones who actually need clothing are the rare exceptions. The fragile bodies, the hairless coats, the aging companions who no longer generate heat the way they used to. But for most healthy cats, that soft little sweater interrupts the rhythms that keep them grounded, makes grooming impossible, and adds a quiet layer of stress that they can't explain to you. And once you see how differently they move when the fabric comes off, you begin to understand how much your cat depends on their own body, not ours, to keep them safe and warm. Chapter 8. Mistake 6. Poor ventilation in sealed homes. It's tempting to believe that sealing every window and door is the safest way to protect your cat from winter's cold. A warm, closed-up home feels comforting to us, almost like we're shielding them from everything outside. But your cat's body experiences that trapped air very differently. As the days pass, the air grows heavier without you noticing, filled with moisture from your routines and tiny particles from cleaners, furniture, and even the litter box. And while you go about your day, your cat spends hours breathing air that never gets a chance to refresh, their sensitive lungs working harder in a space that slowly loses its clarity. It's unsettling when you realize how easily this hidden buildup can bother them, especially the ones with flatter faces, quieter breathing, or those soft little snoring sounds you've always thought were harmless. A small moment of fresh air, a window cracked in an empty room, or a filter changed a bit sooner than usual becomes less of a chore and more of a quiet kindness. And once you start noticing the way your home feels after even a few minutes of airflow, you begin to understand how much your cat depends on that simple exchange to stay comfortable through the cold months. Chapter 9. Mistake 7. Underestimating outdoor cold exposure. You'd be surprised how quickly a harmless moment at the doorway can turn into something your cat isn't built to survive. One curious step into the cold feels small to us, especially when the air only bites a little at our skin. But your indoor cat's body reacts as if it's been dropped into another world entirely. They're adapted to the steady warmth of your home, not the sharp, draining chill waiting on the other side of the threshold. And the shock of that temperature shift hits them faster than you'd ever imagine. At first they wander, driven by instinct and scent and movement. But as their body loses heat, their mind slows, their muscles stiffen, and their ability to find their way back home fades with every passing minute. It's heartbreaking to think that something as simple as taking out the trash or signing for a package could open a window of danger your cat never meant to slip through. So, creating small barriers, moving with a little more awareness, or giving them safer, supervised moments outside becomes less about restriction and more about protecting a creature who doesn't understand how unforgiving winter can be. And once you've seen how fragile that boundary truly is, you'll never look at an open door the same way again. By now, you can feel how winter changes the small, almost invisible ways your cat moves through the world, and how much those details quietly depend on you. And even if you didn't know any of this before, the care you're giving simply by listening now is already reshaping their comfort. What you carry forward is the understanding that your cat's needs aren't loud. They're gentle, subtle, and full of trust. Let that soften the way you watch them over the next few days, as if you're learning a language they've been speaking to you from the start. And when you do, you'll start noticing other mysteries in the way they behave around you, especially where they choose to rest. That choice to sit near you instead of on you has an emotional logic of its own, woven from instincts and comfort and the way they see you. If you'd like to understand that quiet choice more deeply, we can explore it together next.